Special Olympics are the world's largest program of sports training and athletic competition for children and adults with intellectual disabilities. Special Olympics currently serve over 6 million athletes and unified partners in 174 countries. Here in Florida, they currently serve over 44,400 athletes and unified partners who are training and competing year-round in sports of their choice. Coming up on Polk Place, we'll talk with the local organizers about their Polk County Fall Classic. Make sure you stick around. Hello and welcome to Polk Place. I'm Steve Barnes, and with us here today we have the county director for Special Olympics Florida, Mike Long, as well as special needs parent advocate and head delegate for the Equestrian Program, Sarah Frederick. Guys, thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So, Mike, you're always good to see you here. You're a regular on the show. Tell us what you got coming up and What's been happening with Special Olympics? Yeah.
There is so much going on. I have to take a look at my list here. I had to have cheat notes today, but literally, first off, we just finished doing area swimming. There was over 200 athletes at that. It actually happened in Brandon, but a major event. I mean, give you a highlight. We basically more than doubled the size of the swimming program in Polk County alone. And of course, we went over there, and I don't know, we were going through the list the other day, and I think we had like only 3 people who didn't get a first place. So we really dominated well. Then we just had state stand-up paddleboard. We sent about the 3rd largest delegation over, I believe it was, but there was 33 counties, 133 athletes, and we were the 4th largest delegation over there. So that was nice. Stand-up paddleboard really big. It's growing. It's still small, but it's growing. And then this past weekend we had the state golf, where it was over at the Disney complexes, and we had 38 counties, 277 athletes, and we were the 5th largest delegation there with a lot of good golfers. So that's kind of what's happened, but then get ready. I mean, it's like we're walking into the fall, and it's almost like scary. I mean, on September 21st, we've got our Polk Fall Classic, which is when we have 200 athletes come in to Tenor Rock High School, and we do powerlifting, flag football, softball, cheerleading. Oh no, gymnastics this year. Gymnastics, they split those up. Gymnastics. We're also going to try out. We're having a. They call it over 40 athletics, but it's basically walking, and it's a track and field event. Yeah. And then we're going to test pickleball, which is one of the fastest growing sports.
Yeah, especially here in Florida. Folks love their pickleball.
And I've already got about 4 teams, maybe 5 I'll have by the time we have it. Yeah. But they're practicing and getting ready to do. I got the equipment in. Then on the 5th, this is when it really gets crazy. This started just this last weekend, bowling. I think, in fact, I remember last year you guys came out to bowling. I mean, we had about 200 last year for county bowling. Yeah. One of our teams has 125 on it. Let alone there's another 8 teams. So we're going to have about 250 for county bowling. That's great. It's going to be insane. I mean, and we usually do it over at Cypress Lane, so we're going to take over that. Then we got the state swimming, which is going to be in Vero Beach, which again, all those athletes for swimming are going to go over there probably for that. And I've got a Champions for Change breakfast, a fundraiser on October 9th. And
now that's your annual
annual
breakfast.
Yeah, get together where we give out a lot of awards and get people to come in.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, good time. And then the big event is going to be October 12th. We have our Fall Classic at Southeastern, where we literally take over the campus. They provide all of the volunteers, and again, we'll have all those same sports going on there. So yeah, that's getting ready to get. And we're expecting 500 athletes at that one.
That's a busy calendar and a lot of I would imagine dealing with all these athletes, and of course one of the common themes here, it sounds like, is major growth in the programs.
Well, the last time I was on, I had the school board here. We've had a major emphasis into that
Yeah.
with the school systems. And actually, to give an update on that, we've added over 800 athletes, and just between that last telecast and this one, to give you an
Wow.
idea, we've added
Unbelievable.
10 new schools as of right this second. And honestly, I'm sure you guys have had people on, but it literally is the growth coming into Polk County. I mean, I saw a thing recently that said that there were something like that. Lakeland and Winter Haven were the 4th fastest growing metropolitan areas
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
Isn't
that crazy?
I will attest that is 100% true.
Yeah.
You know why I know? Because 3% of your population is supposed to be special needs. And literally, because of that, I'm getting about 5 to 6 phone calls a week where it's literally, "Hi, are you the director of Special Olympics?" "Yeah." "We just moved here from Michigan and we want to get our daughter back involved." I mean, these people are cold turkey. In fact, at the bowling we just had last weekend, we kind of said there's going to be bowling practice at 1:30 at Cypress Lanes on Sunday. 25 people showed up that we weren't expecting, that just had moved into the county.
And just heard about it and
Right.
wanted to join up.
Which brings me to our guest Sarah
Yeah.
here. Sarah's been my right hand for a while now. First off, because she took on Equestrian, which, as you well know, is one of my favorite programs we have. But more than that, she's a parent advocate. But also, I'll let her explain a lot of this. She's a resource for people with special needs.
Yeah.
Because every county is different. And so you need to kind of, where do I get help? Who can I talk to? What do I need to do? In fact, I called her up at bowling when I saw all these people coming in. And I said, "Sarah, you need to get up here." And what'd you bring, 70 business cards and left with 20 or something like that? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was overwhelming. But tell them a little bit about what you do, okay?
Well, I have become a parent advocate because there was such a huge need in our community. My daughter has autism, and she also has epilepsy. And when we got those diagnoses when she was 2 years old, it was a nice knowing you. This was before Google and before
Yeah.
support groups and
I'd imagine that's a really lonely feeling.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I jumped in head first and I said, I'm going to be the one that's going to, have to help her. And I learned all that I could. And I vowed that I would, if I could help it, I would, do everything that I possibly could to make sure that no other parent felt that way.
Yeah.
Because it is lonely. It's scary. You don't know where to go or who to turn to. And in Florida, there's not one place that you can go to find the resources that you need. You can talk to a social worker and you can talk to, an autism advocate, and they both don't know, the programs. So where do you send parents to? And that's kind of why I became a parent advocate.
Right.
And I created 2 websites, a Facebook group, Special Needs Playdates and Support Group, Polk County. And it's a local support group. We have over 800 special needs families in there, all Polk County. And then I have some advocates from surrounding counties in there, and we network.
Yeah.
They get Polk County people and they send them to me, and I get Orange County, I send them to them. And there's been a shift in Polk County. Parents are advocating for their children, and it's really taken off. But for us, our worlds have collided. People move into the county and they've done Special Olympics,
Right.
so they instantly go to him because he's the one.
Yeah.
And then he calls me and says, "Hey, this parent needs help." So our emails are flying all day long, phone calls, and parents are just desperate to be part of the community.
Yeah. When you first started the group, I mean, did you ever imagine that you had 800 families? I mean, that's just
No. Yeah.
mind-blowing.
We started the group as a playdate group because there was nothing. There was nothing like this anywhere. There were no support groups, and I've met older parents who have been through it, And they are my mentors. You know, I bombarded them and said, tell me all you know. And they said, this is the one thing that has been missing. There's no support for these parents. So I said, well, let's do it. You know, let's start a play date group. And we did that, and it just boomed.
Yeah.
In fact, you can actually see in the social media, because it's almost self-sufficient, her blog.
Yeah.
At night, you pull it up and you start looking at it, and a parent asks a question, and then another parent answers it.
Yeah.
And it just goes on and on and on, and it's like, and of course there's special Olympics questions in there, this and that.
Right.
You know, I have to check it every so often, you know, and of course she's just on top of it always. And it has its life of its own now.
It runs itself. It really does. In the beginning, I would, you know, answer all the questions, and, you know, I was 100% on the page all the time. And now my parents are, you know, they've gotten the resources that they need, and they feel confident enough to reach out to other parents and say, hey, I've been through that. Let me tell you what I did.
Yeah.
So it's running itself.
What a huge help.
Which is
Yeah.
amazing. And,
Yeah.
you know, the vision that I had is exactly where we're at today. And I also do a monthly meeting. I hold that the first Wednesday of the month. It's called Snaps. You know, we were kind of throwing around names as to, you know, what we were going to name it. And I had a parent say to me, I'm about to snap. I need to go to this meeting. And I was like, that's it. That's what we're going to name it. So it's Special Needs Alliance Parent Support. And 2 hours, you know, come out. We don't have childcare, but if that's the only way you can get to this meeting, then we will figure it out. We laugh, we cry, I give resources, I bring in guest speakers sometimes. It's just a great time.
Yeah.
And very needed, again, in our community.
I would imagine for both of you that that the involvement of the community is a big part of what makes both your group successful and Special Olympics. That volunteer base, that willingness to pitch in and help out where it's needed. I mean, with the number of athletes that you have in these programs, there's no way you could organize all these things yourself.
Oh yeah, no. And in fact, and I have to say, I always kid some of the other county directors. They're always looking for volunteers. I'm a Polk County man. All I got to do is throw it out over the bow, and they just start coming out. Everybody in Polk County is great. That's the most wonderful part about living here.
Yeah.
Is the people.
Well, these are really fun events to be part of too, because they're athletes. They are competing. They are. This isn't. You know, this isn't playing games. They are really in it to win.
Was it? I went to their practice the other day. They're literally, they've got 2, possibly 3 guys doing over 400 pounds.
Wow, that's incredible.
I mean, we're talking some serious weight there. I mean, they don't take it. They actually go to Georgia to a regional tournament and usually walk back with all the gold from it. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on all the time. But I guess the one thing that I got involved, when I got involved in this, I got involved with it because my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So I'm not just the county director of Special Olympics. I'm a parent as well.
Yeah.
Or, you know, caregiver. And I guess that's one thing, and that's why Sarah and I kind of hooked up, because I get these requests and they say, you know, hey, I want to get my kid involved in Special Olympics. Well, yeah, but you should also know that there's a Saturday Night Live, and there's a dance over here, and there's an out-of-box over there. And by the way, let me connect you with Sarah, because I know you need these resources. You know, my email's huge that I send somebody welcoming them to Special Olympics, but I always end it by saying, welcome to the family.
Yeah.
Because in Polk County, we're family.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We really are.
On the same lines of the competition, tell me about the Equestrian Program, because that is so neat.
The Equestrian Program, when we started it, my daughter was on the team. Mm-hmm. She was one of the first. I believe we had 14.
You went to 13, actually. 13.
Well, did you have a background in equestrian?
No.
It was
Total
just
city girl. Total city girl. And I had overheard at bowling some parents talking about equestrian. They were putting it together.
Yeah.
And so I told my friend, I said, they're starting equestrian and we need to get in it. So we jumped in head first, and my daughter absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And from where she started, shaking, scared, crying, you know, during some of the practices, to last year going to state and winning gold in both of her classes. a huge growth. And all of the children on or the athletes on the team, tremendous growth.
Right.
There's not one athlete that you can't, see from the beginning, and then even our showmanship teams, coming out to this big, huge horse and have to look at square in the eyes, and then them running that horse by the time, they're going to the championships.
Well, and that's something that's really interesting about the sport of horse racing and equestrian is, a typical athlete, they have their equipment, they have their, their pads, they have their weights, they have their swimming gear, they have their equipment. But when you're talking about equestrian, it's not just equipment. There's a relationship built with those animals.
Absolutely.
Which is a whole nother aspect that is, engaging these athletes.
Well, that's what we try to do is we had a riding team, and when we started to introduce the second year of it, we started showmanship instead. So everybody has to go through showmanship first, which means basically cleaning up horse manure, petting the horse,
taking
cleaning
care
up
of the horse,
knowing what the horse is all about, and that weeds out anybody who's not going to be a keeper. And then now we're letting those people start to ride, and we're bringing in. And actually, we just opened it up for registration, but we're preparing for basically as many as 45, 50 new athletes coming into the program now, and we're prepared to handle that.
Yeah.
And we're going to have 25 riders this year.
Yeah. Yep.
How does somebody get involved in being a parent advocate?
There's really you could do like partners in policy making, where you can learn, from how to advocate for your child to going to Tallahassee and advocating for laws, and but really, honestly, learning all you can about whatever specific diagnosis that you possibly can. I deal with all diagnoses across the board. So there were some things where, like Down syndrome or spinal bifida, where I was like, okay, I got a parent and I need to learn what I can do to help this, to help this child. Education is key, and knowledge is power. And if you have those two things, you share it, with your, the next parent in line. And the more you do that, the more of an expert you become. You live this life, and you are the expert.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been such a pleasure. It's so great to hear that the programs are expanding, that more athletes are being involved, and of course the community growing. What a terrific organization you guys have.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. The Special Olympics Florida in Polk County invites you to come out to their Polk County Fall Classic being held at Tenor Rock High School, located at 4905 Saddle Creek Road in Lakeland, all day Saturday, September 21st. The games will feature more than 200 athletes competing in powerlifting, gymnastics, softball, and flag football. There's always a need for volunteers for these events. And for more information on the dates, times, and how you can give your time and efforts, you can give them a call at 863-873-8219 or look them up on the web at www.specialolympicspolk.org.